Hello. Hey, Replay fam. What is up? I am Tatiana. I'm a business coach and a mentor for women wanting to start their own businesses. Welcome to the Inspire Blueprint. Just welcome to my little corner here on the internet. I am very excited because it has been a while since I have gone live on any of my platforms. Me and my family recently relocated across the country, y'all. So we have just been adjusting over the last month. We moved literally on May 1st and have just been trying to just get ourselves settled. So I'm so excited to finally be hitting go live because it has been so long, just adjusting to the time difference and a new house and just all of the changes that come with just any transition. So I hope you all are doing well as you are starting to get on. Hello. Let me know how your week is off to so far. I know we had a long weekend, so I know for many of us it feels like Monday. For me, I have to keep reminding myself like, no, it's Tuesday because I keep feeling like it's Monday. But I wanted to just get on and talk to you all first to just check in and say hey, little life updates and things, and also wanted to just send some encouragement. I wrote down a couple of things on my little sticky note about what we can focus on this summer because summer is approaching. June is literally starting in one day basically, and I feel like once June comes, it's like it's really that time, right? Kids are wrapping up with school now, and I feel like with summer, it sometimes comes a bit of a slower pace, and it also comes a mark of we are at the halfway point of the year, right? So a lot of different things to just reflect on and consider, and so these are some of the things that I'm going to be doing this summer, and so I just wanted to kind of chat with you all. But as you are getting on, those of you that are on YouTube as well, hello, how are you doing? How is your week going so far? Let's see. Okay, so hey, Auntie Lifestyle said, I'm ready for the week to be over. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better for you. I've definitely had those weeks, so I understand, but definitely praying that it just continues to go up from here. How's everyone else doing? How's your week going so far? And also for the replay people that are watching later, let me know how things are going for you. Like I was just sharing earlier, this is my first time going live in pretty much over a month, which is not like me at all. It's one of my favorite things to do, but with moving, it's just been a lot trying to just get back into the swing of things. And I'm always a big person about giving myself grace and just understanding the season I'm in. And so that's what I decided to do, practice what I preach. And so we are going to talk about some things to focus on for summer. So I have my 5 little points here, but the real reason of why I wanted to do this and just talk about this is because we get to a point sometimes, especially in our head, you look up and you're like, oh my God, the year is halfway over. Like I didn't do this, or I wanted to do this and now I feel like I'm running out of time. Whatever you may be feeling in this time frame, we're coming up on summer. Summer for some of us really slows down. For some of it picks up. Maybe we have a lot of trips and things. So all of these things in this list is going to really vary depending on, who you are, what types of things you have coming up and what summer really looks like for you. But all in all, the point is for you to just start to think about it a little bit intentionally. We still got a couple weeks before summer officially starts, and just decide what you want that 3-month time frame to look like for you. So it's like a portion of Q3, a little bit of Q2 still in there, of just kind of what you want this middle of the year to look like for you. So the first thing is to really just reflect. How has the year been for you so far? I know for me, the first half of the year was really just preparing for us to move here. The first half of the year was just really trying to get my membership off of the ground, prepping and planning for that. And I started the year off very slowly. I kind of eased into January. Usually I hit the ground running with a launch. I didn't have a launch right in January. And so the year to me has just really been somewhat of like a very like, like just slowly going up. And I feel like for me this year, the top of my I guess you could say hill or my roller coaster of everything, kind of when you reach that peak, I feel like mine is going to be the holiday season. And so I've just been reflecting on all of the things I've done. What are the things I'm proud of? What are some things that haven't been working that I want to kind of, nix out and not do that anymore? So really just encouraging you to reflect on how this first half of the year has gone for you thus far, and to not focus on the negatives, if there have been some things you didn't get to yet. I know for me, one of my big goals for 2023 was that I wanted to read, I believe it was 40 books. I was on like a really big reading kick last year, and I ended up reading like more books than I had read. And I mean, it's maybe crazy to say, but in, let's just say, since I graduated from college, I can probably count on my hands here the amount of books that I had read. And just like books for entertainment, I'm saying. And so last year I read, I think, y'all, like 24 books or something like that. And it wasn't even the whole year. It was like the second half of the year I just started like reading like crazy. And so I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna continue this, I'm gonna keep it going. And then I literally started January off pretty good. I think I read like 2 or 3 books in January, and then did not read another thing. Or I started one book, which I still have not finished yet. And I think that was the problem. It wasn't really my genre per se. But I was stuck on the same book, and then I just kept feeling like I got to finish this book or I can't move on. And finally I was like, no, obviously I'm not interested in finishing this book right now. Let's just get a different one. And so that's what I did. And so now I'm reading again. And so I'm like, okay, I think I can still accomplish this 40 book goal that I have. It's a big one, but I know I can do this. And so it's the same really for you. Just think about like, what are some of the things that you probably set out to do? When we sit down, we plan it out for the year, we're feeling ambitious. We're feeling, very driven, right? We're ready to get these things done. But then when life really starts happening, and at the time I didn't even know that we were going to be moving. My husband ended up getting a new job, but we were like in limbo at the end of last year. We didn't know whether or not it was going to be happening. And so we went into this year not really knowing what everything was going to look like. And so when he finally accepted the position back in, I want to say it was February. And then I was like, oh shoot, we got to move. It was like everything just changed for me. So I just focused on the membership, my what I call non-negotiables. And then I just decided from there that I was going to just kind of slow myself down a little bit so that I didn't freak out, from just trying to do too much at one time. Hey, Test Creations. What's up? What is up? Hello, everybody. I'm just chatting about just some things I'm focusing on for the summer and hoping to just give some ideas to you all as well as we try to just navigate through the upcoming months. But as you're getting on, let me know how you're doing. How is your week so far? So that is basically number one. I think I got a little bit off topic, but I feel like I just haven't been on in a while, so I really just like to share. But basically what I'm saying is you might be like me. There may be a thing where you like, oh yes, I'm about to hit the ground running with this thing, but then you actually look up and you're like, okay, I did not do that, right? Like I did not do that at all. So that's been just one of the examples with me. I have many, but that's one of them on a personal note. As far as business is concerned, I really didn't go into the year with like any huge business goals. And I typically don't like to do that just because I pivot quite a bit sometimes just with different things going on. I've really created a business where I just kind of really go with what is working for me in my current season, which I'm grateful for. But with that, it's a business, so that means there's influxes of income and things with the amount of attention that I give to the business. But that's why I didn't really set any like hefty goals for the year because I knew this year was going to be a bit interesting. So anyway, reflect. That's number one. Hey, Makia. Hey, Nina. Yes, glad you caught a live. Okay, so the next one, number 2, is to set a new schedule and also just identify what season you are in. I think that this is so important. I say on my channel all of the time, I'm here to encourage you to get out of your own way to do the things that you want to do. And it is very important to do this by knowing where you are in life, right? And so if you know that right now you are in a very transitional period, like me, for example, I would say really March through this month has just been us preparing to move, getting here, getting settled. And so I knew that I really wasn't going to have a set schedule or like that, from as much as I could control, especially once we moved here, we switched to a completely different time zone. So I'm like, okay, now what does my life look like back on Eastern time? Like just all of these different things. And so identifying the season you're in, like what's coming up for you, what has been going on. Another example I like to use a lot of times is if you have like a sick loved one that you're taking care of. Sometimes what we were able to do in the previous season before this happened is not what we're able to do now. If we are dealing with our own health issues that may be happening, like this is real life stuff. Maybe we're having a difficult time with our children. We have to really look at all of those things in order to really set a schedule that's realistic, not just one that looks good on paper and it's like, oh yeah, I got all these to-dos and things on my list, but one that we can actually attain and not feel like we're beating ourselves down because we're not able to accomplish those things. And so that's going to be different for everyone. I will say for me, my summer schedule, I really want it to be pretty much chill. I'm going to be doing a lot of like homeschool stuff with my daughter, and I really feel like that is what I want to focus on for the majority of the time this summer. I really just want her to learn as much as she can, do a lot of hands-on activities, get outside, just do fun stuff, make it fun to make sure she knows all of like her basic things before we get into like the regular, like the regular stuff, the kindergarten stuff. So that's really my focus, is just to have like an amazing fun summer with her. We're going to be doing beach trips. We're now within a couple hours driving away from the beach, y'all. So I'm excited for that. We're closer to family. So I'm definitely going to be wanting to see my family. Like, that is my priority. And so I know that my schedule, I already was actually working on it this morning. I do time blocking. And so what was my previous schedule is very different from what it is now. My daughter is back home with me full time, whereas before she was going somewhere a couple times a week when we were in New Mexico. So I really had to sit down and be like, okay, realistically, I need to be intentional about my time. I need to be showing up as a parent. So I'm not going to be able to do this much work on this day like I used to, but I'm going to move this time. And so with that, really think about how are you going to be able to show up for your business still during this time, but identifying, are you going to be speeding up, or are you slowing down? So I've talked about this in previous lives before, but you might be in a couple of different areas. And this can apply to life or business, but you have kind of a season where you are more in the watering season, like you've put a couple seeds in the ground, you're just kind of sowing the seeds. Nothing is showing just yet. But you're putting a lot of work in, you're watering it, you're making sure you're tending to everything that you are trying to grow, but you haven't seen the results, is that the season you're in? If that's the case, then I would definitely say you probably want to keep it pretty consistent through the summer. If you know that you're more so in a season of where things are like really growing, you're starting to see stuff, but you still need to tend to it really well. You may be able to take some moments to step away and, not be so on top of it, but you don't want to just completely let it go because you've already seen this growth, just like with real plants, y'all. When I was actually trying to call myself having a green thumb, if you like kind of let yourself off for saying like, oh, I'm seeing some growth, you can't just stop watering it all of a sudden. You still want to keep it going. So deciding like, are you in a growth phase? And if so, what is growing? What's really working well to make your business grow? That's important to identify. And then the other one is just like harvest, so harvest just means like now the stuff is growing in abundance. Things are coming in from left and right. You've been doing a lot of work and maybe you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe you might be feeling a bit burnt out and that you need to take some time. So that schedule, consider that, figure out, do I need to step away? What kind of trips and things do I have coming up for the summer? What time blocks can I make within my day that would allow me? And a lot of things I talk about with the ladies in the membership is theming our days as well. So just how can you set it up so that when you wake up on a specific day, like what you need to do on every Monday, what you're expecting yourself to do on Thursdays. And that can also help too. So that's definitely what I would say is tip number 2. Focus number 2 is to set a new schedule and identify the season that you're in. Miss Dolly's Life said, I like YouTube lives better than Instagram. Me too. I definitely do. But I love to be present on both because I know we all have our preferences and stuff. But I'm glad you're here. Okay, so number 3 is to, of course, set some goals, y'all. Set some personal and business goals for quarter 3, because it's a portion of quarter 3, as well as just the summertime in general, and get some accountability. So for the goals, I think, again, this is going to vary for all of us, just depending on where we are, what we're trying to do. If you know that you want to start a business this year, I think the summertime is a great time to really just start to get all that research out of the way, and just start kind of, playing around with things, trying to see what works, see what sticks. People tend to have a bit more time on their hands during the summer. Kids are out of school. It's just a bit slower paced, I feel. And so it's definitely a time to just kind of play around with things and try to grow your audience a little bit steadily, especially if you want to set yourself up for a great holiday, which we're going to talk about in a minute. The summer is a wonderful time to start getting your business planted somewhere. Like we want to go back to that reference. Like you want to really start planning your business this summer if you have intention of starting a business this year. And a lot of the people I follow, you all are doing different types of businesses. Specifically, always use the example, if you are starting like a planner company, for example, like that. We have the academic planner season coming up. We also have the calendar season coming up, for the new year. So just really identifying what is going to make the most sense for your type of business, of course. But it's important to know the holidays are coming. So you want to really plant yourself now. This is me telling you, this is your sign. If you were like, oh, I don't know, this is your sign. Definitely get started. If you've been wanting to try something, but you've been nervous, I did a whole series over on YouTube all about going live recently. That might be something you've been wanting to try. Really get your feet wet and trying new things. And this is a great time to do it. You may have a little bit more time on your hands. But even if you don't, still prioritize those things that you maybe haven't tried that could really be what's getting in your way of the business. I actually think it might have been Miss Dolly's Life comment, or someone recently commented on my video, and they were saying that one of the things that they fear in their business is the fear of success, the fear of growing, the fear of doing well. This is very real. And when you decide to just not try things just simply out of the fear of, oh, well, if it actually works out, if I do well, this has happened to me many, many times. I'll know everything that I need to do in order to lead myself up to a successful launch. But for some reason, I will put it off, if I know, for example, sending out an email. I didn't even do it today, mainly because it was a little bit last minute. But usually I like to send out an email when I go live to my list. But, there have been times in the past where I'm like, oh, no, I don't think I'm going to do that because, might be too many people on. That's a good example. So let's shy away from doing that over this summer as we start to grow our business and everything. I think it's just important to realize that the things that you have been nervous about doing, let's shed the nerves, let's shed the fear, and let's just finally hit the go button. You have the green light from me. I am rooting for you to finally make it happen so that when whatever your busy season comes, you have already started to plant those seeds. My kid said, low-key, been thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, do it. Do it. I love YouTube so much. I will say it's definitely my favorite platform. And I've noticed so many people, I don't know, you all tell me if you've noticed this too, but I feel like so many people are starting to kind of piece out of social media a little bit. I've been noticing a little bit more and more. Where people are finding other things that they want to do, or they're kind of focusing on other platforms. I recently saw this one woman I follow. She was like, I'm done with Instagram. I'm just going to be focusing on LinkedIn, for example. I know for me, whenever I do take a break, I pretty much always stay consistent on YouTube, but I might take a break from other platforms. So I guess I'll actually say this is a sub point. I'll say, just because I think it kind of goes in with what we're talking about with the goals and stuff. Really focus on what you like, especially when you're just deciding on your personal and business goals. You don't have to do what seems popular. Do what you really are excited about, or what you feel will work best for you, because you're going to enjoy it more. You'll want to show up a lot more for it. And I know for me, YouTube is one of those things. I love YouTube. I can't always say the same thing for other platforms, but YouTube is one of those things where I'm always excited to create new content, go live, and connect. And so, yes, my kid, you should definitely start your channel. And the other part of this point number 3 is get accountability. So you all know I'm going to continue to sing praises about my membership. We started and kicked everything off for quarter 2. It is the Inspire Blueprint membership, and it has been amazing. The ladies in there are truly... they've given me more than what I expected, first off. But it's just a great place to come, not feel judged, but to really just be seen, to be held accountable, which is the main thing, to be supported. We have challenges in there. We have trainings. We get together. We have a call tonight, actually. We're constantly rooting each other on. We ask questions. It's a really supportive community of like-minded women that are all just trying to start and grow the businesses that they have been wanting to do. And so it's a wonderful place to be. So I just wanted to mention it because we're getting out of quarter 2 and we're getting ready to get into a new quarter. So if you've been looking for accountability and support, definitely check out the Inspire Blueprint membership. It is linked in the description over on YouTube, and it should be also in the link of Instagram as well. So I just wanted to mention that because it's key. I think with anything, when you are starting something, whether you're unfamiliar or if you notice a bit about yourself that you start and then you stop, you start and you stop, and you keep getting in your own way and you keep making excuses, accountability, not even saying just my membership, but just someone, someone that can be there for you to just check in with you, make sure you're doing the things you're supposed to do, and just help you and let you know, like, I see you, I know what you're doing, I'm here to support. Like, I think that is so important to have, and I always recommend that to anyone that is starting a business. I'm like, get an accountability partner, find a support group, like really find that for yourself. And that really can even extend into personal goals as well. Just finding people that understand where you're at and what you're trying to do, and that are trying to do the same. Okay, Narissa said the membership is great. It's seriously the best thing I could have done for myself. Yes, and Narissa is a regular participant in there, from just supporting other women and just sharing and being real. And it's just, I love it so much. So I'm so glad that you're enjoying it, Narissa. It has been so much fun. Okay, so we have 2 more points, just really briefly. Again, we're talking about just things to focus on this summer when it comes to you and your business. Number 1, I said to reflect on how the year has been. 2, get a new schedule together and identify the season you're in. Number 3 is to set your personal and business goals and find accountability for them. And then number 4 is get back to you. And so I actually sent out an email last week. It was all about the INSPIRE acronym. And if you have been following me for any length of time, you already know, like, my word is inspire. My actual last name is Muse. And so it's just like a part of me, And so I created this acronym back last fall, and I always revisit it, especially when I feel like I'm in a transitional period and I'm really just wanting to, just get back to what I need to focus on. Kind of like hitting a reset button is what I called it, basically. And so definitely check out that acronym. So basically, like I said, it's every letter has a word, of course, for the acronym. But the main one that I want you to focus on within that acronym is the I, and that is the intention. It's the first I in there. And the reason that we're focusing on that is because when we think about all of the goals and things that we're setting for ourselves, it all comes back to intention. It all comes back to, like, what is the purpose behind this? Why is this important to me? Why do I want to do this? Where is it taking me? What is it going to help me to do? Who is it going to help? Like, what is the intention behind it? And then everything else falls into place. And so I just wanted to say, to get back to you. Are you being intentional with what matters to you? What's important to you? We're actually going to be reading a book in the book club of the membership this summer. I haven't even shared the book with them yet, so I'm not going to share it here. But we're reading a book that is very much about being intentional, and I'm really excited about it. But I just challenge you to get back to what matters the most. So what that looks like, for me, like I said, reading was really my thing, y'all, and I fell off. So reading is most importantly going to be getting back on my list. Taking more social media breaks again. I've fallen victim back to getting into the scrolling. And lately, I've also fallen victim to some of these games on my phone. Like, has anybody ever gone through, where you go through a period of time where you're just obsessed with playing games? I've done this before, with Candy Crush. I've been bad with it. And then it started with this, Wordscape game. And then I would see the advertisements for these other games, and I got 6 games. I'd be rotating and stuff, and I was joking with my husband, and I'm like, well, let me get back on the clock. I gotta work, trying to do these games and beat these levels. No, girl. Okay. So I say all of this to say is get back to you. What is important to you? What is sucking the energy out of you? What are the things that maybe you've been saying yes to, but we all know, deep down inside, it's not really what you're enjoying. It's not making you happy. It's just not bringing you the joy in your life. Let's get back to who we are, and not so much of what fills the void sometimes. And I know this to be a very honest point for me to just share with you all. This move, and I don't even know if I shared, we moved to South Carolina. I don't know if I've actually said that, but that's where we're at. Lots of pros of moving here, being a lot closer to my family, just being back on the East Coast. All of the people I pretty much know are on the East Coast. And a lot of my clients and people I work with, they all are within this area of the country. Lots of things that can come from it. And I'm going to be honest, the first couple of weeks of us being here, I really felt down. I felt really low. I just wasn't as excited as I thought I was going to be. And so because of that, I think I was just trying to fill the time with things like Wordscape or, these different games, a Nintendo Switch. That sounds fun. I actually was looking into that at one point to get. Oh, Connie, I'm so glad you're enjoying the membership as well. So glad you're in there. Make sure you introduce yourself because I don't think you put an introduction post yet. We would love to read about you. But yeah, I just really kind of went through a few weeks, and I'm not saying I'm out of it. Like, I'm still kind of like, just adjusting. It was just a huge change moving from the desert, coming here. I loved our house that we had there, and so I'm still just trying to adjust to this new one. And just lots of changes, and I'll just be honest, I just was kind of like, this is not really what I like. It's not really what it's cracked up to be. But as I'm starting to get used to my new normal, things are starting to settle a little bit. But I say that's why I was saying like to fill the void of like where maybe you don't really know like how to explain it, but you know that something is missing or you're doing something to avoid something or whatever it is. Like I know that happens to me and I fall into these kind of like bad habits and stuff. And so really that's what I'm saying. Just get back to you. If you've been maybe eating a little bit too much ice cream before bed, maybe that might be where it's like, okay, let me stop. I don't want to do that anymore. Or whatever it is, like if you've been negatively talking about yourself a lot, maybe more recently. I know people that are guilty of this where you'll just like be down, down, down on yourself. And it's like, no, girl, build yourself up. Like whatever that means for you, it's just get back to you. That's going to be a different definition for everyone. But I think that it's just so important to realize that we have to hit that reset button and be intentional about the choices that we're making, the stuff we watch, the things we listen to, the things that we spend our time doing. It all goes right back into who we are, and it plays a role. Let's see, Roniska, what's up? Hey, Shalina. She said, I'm actually sitting on my bed with my business planner and membership workbooks, reflecting and goal setting. Hopped on my phone for a second, saw your live. Yes, this was super impromptu. I knew I wanted to go live today, but I didn't know what time it was going to be. So I just kind of was like, all right, we'll see what happens. So I'm glad you were able to get on. Thank you so much, Trisha. I appreciate it. We're almost done, though. So that was basically point number 4. Get back to you. Like I said, it's going to be different for all of us. Some of us may have been through difficult things and we're coming out of that. Maybe you are currently dealing with it and you're just trying to find little glimpses of hope for yourself. Whatever it is, I just want you to get back to you and figure out what that means and make it happen. Be intentional about it. Even if it's just an hour out of the week where you get to do something that you absolutely love, make it happen for yourself. Seriously, if nothing else that I say on this list, I think that is the most important. And then number 5 is to prep for the holidays. So this is more so back on the business front of things. But shoot, really it can apply to personal life as well. Because I know sometimes as parents, not all parents, I'm trying to get better with that pressure of feeling like we need to like really show up and show out for Christmas, because it can just feel like a lot. I'm saying for my daughter. But even in that sense of just, trying to figure out like, okay, what are the plans for the holidays? What are we going to be getting her and all of those different things. But on the business side, what is your business going to be doing during the holiday season? This is a great time to start thinking about it now. Looking at if you had a holiday season last year, if you were in business, what worked well, what didn't, getting some inspiration from other businesses, different things that they've done. I've seen so many cool things over the years that businesses will do. If you want to do like an advent calendar now while things are slow, sit down and plan it out now. Don't wait until November and be like, oh, I wanted to do that advent calendar. Like, no, this is the time, start planning while we still have quite a bit of time before the holidays are really picking up. If you have products you're thinking you want to sell, start getting the samples now. Start playing around with the designs. Find the designer. Start playing around with the technology you need to make it happen. Whatever it is, this is a great time to start planning for the holiday season. It picks up for really everything, even like YouTube is a good example. I really like to plan out my YouTube videos and things if I'm going to be doing a Vlogmas or if I'm going to be doing some kind of series. I know last year I did, 12 days of YouTube shorts. And so I planned that out in advance because I already had a lot going on. I had products going out. It was Black Friday. There's no way that I would have, plus all of the things with my family too, So this is a great time to just be like, okay, right now we got one more day left in May. Then we're going to be in June. If I dedicate even 30 minutes a week or however much time you have, I'm going to do a little more than that. But even if it's 30 minutes a week or an hour a week where it's like just to plan out what you want the holiday to look like for your business, you are going to be so much better off when the time comes versus you kind of like being shocked, like, oh shoot, Black Friday is next week. What am I doing? So this is just me kind of reminding you, like, this is a great time to sit down and think about what you want to do for the holidays, and just really take your time with it. And then when it comes, you're going to just feel so much more prepared. So that is my points. That is some things to focus on for the summer and for yourself. The biggest thing I will just say is that I just love it here. I love my little corner. I love these platforms. I love getting on here to encourage you all. And I just appreciate those of you that get on and participate and just share and comment. I just appreciate it so much. I think this last break, if I want to really call it a break, it's been a little bit harder to like get motivated for some reason. I think, again, it was just with all of the changes and transitions. But one of the things that always keeps me excited is just you all. And so I really appreciate it. You truly are why I continue to show up and do this, because there are some days where I'm like, social media is a lot. Showing up and making content is a lot. And so having an amazing audience just really helps that so much. So I just wanted to say that little thank you. But again, if you are interested in the accountability piece of what I talked about, definitely check out the Inspire Blueprint membership. We actually have a call tonight. It's our monthly co-working and accountability call. And then we have all of our stuff starting again for the month of June. We have a training, planning and strategy session. We have a co-working and accountability call. We have some challenges coming up for the month. We have a book club this summer. So lots of fun things to get involved with. If you're really just looking for a group of like-minded women that are also trying to grow businesses amongst being moms and wives and working full-time jobs and all of the things, check it out. I will definitely be back again soon with another live. When? I don't know. Maybe next week. Maybe not. We'll see. But I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you. And I will see you again soon. Bye.